Hello, everybody. So, I know that I have posted quite a few videos recently about having some meltdowns as well as evaluating what I'm going through. A lot of the cycles that I've been going through for a while. And really contemplating if this lifestyle is still healthy for me with where I am at in life right now. As some of you know, I spent like a couple years, about 2.5 years, really kind of doing my best to ground myself in a more stable form of living, working normal people jobs and living out of my car less. I have still considered myself nomadic because I have still moved from place to place to place. Where I'm at right now, I'm grateful to be here. It is definitely a much, much more rough, rugged life, which I really enjoy and I have enjoyed in the past, but it comes with a lot of other aspects that can be draining um, and very difficult for my mental health and feels very unstable, especially in comparison to where I was living before with my dad and stepmom, which I really love them and I really needed the time there to feel a type of safe again. And now that I'm back out here living out of my forerunner again in this dirty kid type of life, homesteading life, I will say that over the past like 7, 8 years, I have learned that there are certain things that I don't really want to create myself that I have been like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. And then the more that I've seen what it requires of people and what it requires of me, I realize I don't really want that anymore. First of all, I do not want a whole ass farm for myself. I love working on farms, but that's not something that I really want to build for myself anymore. While I would love when I have like my own little home to have like a little garden, have my own little maybe some fruits and vegetables. Definitely want to have herbs, at least have an herb garden to have my time still playing in the dirt if I am working a normal job and living in my dream is a little like fairy cabin by the river. Um, and I don't want to do a homestead. I don't want to do a homestead as much as I have a lot of love and respect for that lifestyle. And I do not mind working and living on homesteads for periods of time. I think that that is just not, I don't think that that is for me. I'm trying to think, there was one other thing. I don't know. I don't fully remember at the moment, but yeah. Being out here is definitely challenging me in new as well as old ways, especially around my mental health and especially around the aspects of instability and self-worth, but I was already kind of struggling with those in my own ways before I came out here. I still I still have my dream of having a bus, and I would like to believe that if I had a bus, I would feel different, but it is a little bit of the negative aspect of the grass is always greener, where you think the grass is greener, but and you go on the other side and you realize you still have the same issues that you had before. Well, I do also believe sometimes you think the grass is greener over there and it actually is. Sometimes you need that change, sometimes you need that shift. So at least I have the awareness though that I like to believe that if I have a bus and more living space, it would just be easier. But at the same time, with where I'm at in life, with the instability that I have, it would just mean that I would have a lot more responsibility while having this still the same level of instability and inconsistency in my life. The sun is setting, so I apologize if it does start to get dark on you guys. Beautiful sky. I do love the Arizona skies out here. I am definitely getting tired of living in the desert. Makes me all cry, but I'm also on my period, so maybe it's a little bit of that. I miss Northern California and the West Coast a lot. As ridiculous as I know that there are some aspects of Northern California, of California in general, I feel like Southern California is much worse. I'm definitely a California girl, and I miss the mountains and the trees and the rivers and the oceans, and yeah, I just being in the desert can be very rigid is the first word that comes to mind, very draining and depleting, and I want so badly to move back to the woods. Yeah, and as I think that I always try to find like the positive aspect within the negative emotions that I'm feeling, where I do think that a lot of times negative emotions and negative experiences are catalysts to growth and redirection and making different choices in life and figuring out what exactly that you do want, what exactly do I want? And this has been a question for me for a little bit now, and I feel like over the past couple weeks, it's been hitting me a lot harder, this question, because I feel like in this like torn between wanting this stable life and enjoying living in the mountains, but then I also want my little bus and to travel, and I've always said that I want like both things, but I feel like I also need to ground myself in this moment and realize that what I'm doing right now is not accomplishing that, and I just end up feeling like I'm drowning all of the time. And I'm grateful for my family for supporting me um, in all of the ways over the past couple years, because I was in a really bad mental space when I left Oregon a few years ago and Northern California, and I needed help from people who love me. So I'm really grateful for that, but I will say all the places that I've lived have not really been places that I've loved very much. And so now I'm thinking about, okay, if I know the like type of scenic area that I want to live, and I know like the location that I would love to go back to and live in, which is Humboldt in Northern California. I love the redwoods. That is just the one place I've ever been that felt like I was going home, and so I feel like because of that it always calls me. I think that I would definitely settle for Oregon or Washington if it was the right area. I've also always had an interest in Maine. Funny enough, ever since I was younger, I used to always see that I wanted to move to Maine mainly to get away as far as across America from my troubles. But as an adult, I actually looked into Maine, and it's definitely the type of scenic beauty that I love. But I also know it can be really, really cold during the winter time. So that's not necessarily where I want to be immediately right now, but who knows? Maybe that is in the destiny, whatever. Maybe that's something that I will choose to do someday. But for now, I'm trying to pin down an area and figure out what I need to do if I am going to truly leave this lifestyle. Like, and I don't want to say for good, but at least for like quite a bit longer term. Like, I have no idea how long. Like, it could be like decades of staying in that place. And I feel I felt like waves of sadness thinking about that, of leaving this like completely to that degree. But at the same time, I like to think like, hey, I can still take time away. I learning how to balance that work life passion balance is something that I'm going to have to learn if I enter into that normal living again, and I can do it. I believe in myself even though I'm afraid, and I think that what I am experiencing like the most fear around is that over the past few years I've had, I think, like 3 stable normal jobs, and I have had to leave all of them because of mental health issues. And I think that I just want to know that if I want to make this work, that I can make it work, and that I'm not going to end up drowning in the same type of ways that I have before. I think that I want to know that I'm if I step back into that, that I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be able to do it and stay grounded and stay healthy and make the right choices and get into a home that doesn't make me feel like I'm suffocating. And I think that I have a lot of fear about going back into it, especially because over the past few years of trying to get a little more used to that again, that it has kind of shattered each of the times. And I don't want that to happen again. And I'm not 100% sure right now what I need to do to make that work out for myself. But I will say, everything up to this point, I've figured it out. And while that is a really big deal to me, to get into a living space that is healthy for me, that is grounded and not suffocating, and into a job that is also all of these things, very healthy environment, that it feels impossible, but I already know that in other ways in my life I have already completed impossible, seemingly, to me at least, seemingly impossible tasks. So if it seems impossible, maybe that means that I can do it. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but trying to be positive here. So yeah, guys, I am also trying to allow myself to not feel like I am just letting go of this completely by believing, you know what, I can still travel, having a stable job and a living, as long as I can learn how to have a good balance in that, that I can still enjoy my life without it feeling like I'm drowning in it. And on top of that, like, if I do want my little bus, that is something that honestly is going to be a lot easier for me to save for if I have a stable job and a stable living situation, as long as that living situation is not outrageously expensive. As a lot of us know, it can be in California, but I also have been extraordinarily blessed by living situations that have not been very expensive. So, you know what? I'm gonna keep believing that I am a lucky ducky, and that if that is meant to work out for me, it is going to work out for me. If that is something that I set my mind to do, that I will accomplish it. And all the means will be provided, because even though sometimes I feel like the universe hates me, too many times than not, I am proven that the universe fucking loves me. The universe absolutely loves me, so I'm kind of holding on to that, and good luck, to be honest, to and a mixed amount of faith, ups and downs between fear and faith. And I wrote something the other day, and I liked it because it helped me like be like it's okay to be afraid. It was that I choose faith and trust over fear, but anytime that I experience fear, I nurture myself. And I think that I'm going to hold on to that for now, and I'm going to do my best to remain grounded as much as I can through the waves and the chaos and everything that's going on out here for me, and work towards that next step, if that is the next step. And as some of you know, I think I have a little bit of commitment issues that I've been working on, and that's a big commitment. So I don't, it's like, I think that like a lot of people, and perhaps you relate, that have commitment issues, it's not just that you don't want to commit. I feel like a lot of people with commitment issues actually have this deep, deep, like almost overwhelming desire at times to commit, but the fear of failure or of endings or of goodbye can sometimes be so overwhelming that that can consume you, and I think it kind of causes the commitment issues aspect. That yeah, so that's a big commitment for me, and I have to admit I'm terrified that I'm going to fail. I'm terrified that I'm going to fail, and at least at this point, I know that even though it's not stable and it's not always the best for my mental health anymore, that I can fall back into this if I fail. I- And I don't want to really leave that as an option if that is what I'm going to commit to. I don't really want to even have failure be an option, but I know that I have to allow the possibility of failure, even if it means that, hey, if I fail here, I can get back up and I can try again and I can get back up and I can try again. I've been doing that my whole life. So, yeah. So, guys, out here for now, I think that I am still figuring out what I want as my name. I'm between two names right now. And funny enough, one of the names that I want is Cricket, and there's all these crickets that started going off as soon as I started filming this video. They were not singing before I started this. Good luck. Crickets are good luck. And yeah, so I'm still figuring out my name. I really love both my choices. And I'm also I'm focused on making money. I have not made more money since the last. I think I'm going to start doing like Instacart and Walmart shopper again rather than DoorDash, because DoorDash does take a lot out of your vehicle and take a lot of gas. So I think as much as I'm not a huge fan of grocery stores, I can do this. I can absolutely do this, especially if it means helping myself to create mental and financial stability, as well as next week, I believe I will be doing a bunch of house cleaning. I don't think that I will be working like that much for this lady cleaning Airbnbs, to be honest, guys. She seems very uncomfortable around me. My friend says she's very uncomfortable around a lot of other people. I think she's very paranoid, and yeah, I'm not gonna really go much into that because I could feel it, but yeah. So that is not gonna be a reliable source of income, but at least I know that I will be having quite a bit of income for like about a week and a half. I think starting next week, as long as nothing else happens in between now and then yeah, I'm gonna have those other forms of making money, even though I have to drive like 45 minutes to the nearest town to do that. It is going to be worth it. And my friend said that she could help me, so you know what, two is better than one. And even splitting the cash, that still means that both of us can be making an income off of this, and they need it, I need it. We're working together. It's fucking awesome. So yeah, guys, right now focusing on making money now, taking care of myself, my mental health, my dogs, and doing whatever around the property, and really figuring out, okay, I feel like it's not I feel like I know in my heart that this is what I want, even though there is like, I think that I'm just afraid that I'm just gonna have to like give up traveling forever if I go into this, and I'm afraid of failing. And but at the same time, I think that I really want and need this stability in my life, and ready. I'm ready to create this for longer term, for myself, for my dogs, for my mental health, and for my wallet, for my financial stability. Know that I do not have to stay in that mode of living forever if I don't want to. And if I move someplace and I really hate it, I can always move somewhere else. As much as it is might be really frustrating. But at the same time, guys, like I said, I know where I want to live. At least for now, I know where I want to live. And I have an image in my head of what would be good for me to work in. So I'm going to do my best to make that work. And at the same time, I'm having flexibility with myself and the universe to provide for me the things that I want, the atmosphere, the environment, the living, the scenery, the people. And even if it might look different than how I'm exactly planning it, I'm going to choose to be open to that because yeah. So yeah, guys, that's it. I think that's going to be my video. I think that's going to be it. I'm glad that my period started. Okay, obviously my video is not quite over. I'm glad my period started because I was having so many meltdowns over the past week that if I was gonna have to wait a whole other week of having meltdowns, no, no. And now my energy is already grounding a lot. I'm still a little grumpy, I'm not gonna lie. Still quite a bit sensitive, but I am so grateful that I feel like the worst of that hormonal rush is over, so I can look forward to just emotionally mellowing out. So yeah, guys, wish me well with figuring all of this out. I'm figuring life out, and I'm just trying to do better for myself and be better for myself because I don't want to just feel too broken to be stable. I don't I really don't want to jump around from job to job to job to job. Like in this type of living, it's more normal, and but I have realized that like it kind of puts a drain on me as somebody who does like to stay in places for longer periods of time when things don't work out. And yeah, so I just figure if this is what I'm going to build on in myself now, let's do it somewhere where we want to be. So I'm still going to be living out here in the desert until I can figure that out and figure out my next move to more stability and self-sustainability. Hey, all right, you guys, I'm going to end this video. I love you and I believe in you, and like and subscribe if you would like to, and thanks for being here. All right, bye guys.